thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. Killing the game and I gotta go ask anybody, they all heard about it. They know when the kid and he's spitting it, know when he getting it, bit and I get in my way. Got this, I like do whatever I say, cause I could go put you on blast. People been mad at me cause I don't follow them back. I'm laughing cause that is so whack. Why they all trying to act like they been bossing when really their boss has been bossing them up? Nobody ever been telling me what I would do when I keep in the cash, right the shit out of luck. I want it more, now I get what I wish. Upgrading now with some pants that I whip. Making 6 figures, don't talk about it. Money ain't shit, it's about how you think. Tired of people who making excuses, then they complain about losing. Tell me about what you been doing, tell me about how you been moving. You ain't got nothing to prove then. I did it all on my own, they looking like all of my clones. I don't be following trends, fuck all the popular clothes. You faking and everyone knows. I just be keeping it real, they thinking that I have to go sign a deal, but really the people just found an appeal. I'm in my own lane and I'm steering the wheel, ayy. It's funny how it goes, funny how it goes. Working every night till the sunrise.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, No False Finish, Season 6, and we're on episode 13. And what a better person to have than the mysterious, the eerie, technically, the white rabbit mask wearing, none other than frantic Jessie Justice. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing great. We've talked about this for a long time. I had said I wanted to save you for a special episode, and it was either going to be towards the very end or the very last episode, so I'm glad we can have you for kind of what's fitting, Unlucky 13. So let's get into it. In your opinion, what do you feel like is the atmosphere in the locker room? Because when you're in XCW, you present a abnormal aura, so to speak. You're a different type of person. You're more laid back than most people, whereas most people wrestling focused, all about themselves. What's your opinion of the atmosphere in the locker room?
You got a lot of people that are like your really wrestling fans that will sit and talk about wrestling. Then I'm usually just talking to everybody else, anybody that just not doing anything.
Like I said, you present an abstract to the XCW formula, which is very interesting. Last year in April, we had the tragic passing of the legendary Kurt Aston. How did it have an effect on you, if any effect at all?
It did have an effect. It slowed my progress down a little bit, but things happen like this. We just have to move on and push forward.
Before we were actually shooting this episode, me, you, and Fletch was talking about the Kurt Aston Memorial Show, actually, you being the Battle Royal and stuff like that. Do you think we did the memory of genocide well with that show? Because we had people from the past, such as, the Corruptions, the Justin Parsleys, everybody, the Ryan Wet Dream Riggs, and we had, the present people. We had, the Corey Lees, the Tommy Merrimans, the Bradys, the Brogans, and then essentially the XCW future. We had, the Hunter Hawkins, the ACTs. So in your opinion, do you think we did his memory correctly?
I think we did. I think he would have been very happy with it.
Yeah. What is your favorite match you've had the chance to see in XCW? It can be just something you've watched. It doesn't have to be a Jessie match. Just in general, your favorite match you've had the chance to see.
It's probably not a single match, but when I first started, I can't think of his name. It was a masked character that would challenge random
Eternal Darkness.
Yes.
Eternal Darkness is something challenge. I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
I know there wasn't a lot of wrestling, but it was very entertaining, and it's just nice seeing that masked character get the shit beat out of him every now and then.
For the people at home that don't know, Eternal Darkness is a more comedic masked character than what he originally started off as. And he'd come out, he'd issue an open challenge if anybody had the skulls to step up. You know, we've had the likes of Shy Show, we had the likes of just everybody you can think of from the past. Like, he would have lost to fucking Smoke Buddy Jr. Smoke Buddy Jr. had the skull. Smoke Buddy put on a match with Dylan Bostic, let me tell you. But when it comes to me, don't get me wrong. You know, I love technical wrestling. I love all the different aspects. But one thing I enjoy is a really entertaining segment or a storyline, and that was one of the good ones that Fletch had come up with. Now, what's your favorite match you had the chance to be in?
Probably my death match with Hazard.
Why particularly that match?
Because it is something in XCW that not a lot of people have a chance to participate in, but also just how captivated everybody was when the match was happening.
Yeah. Recently, within the last, I don't know, like the exact year length, but like within the last, like for sure the last decade, XCW's made the transition from being known as Extreme Championship Wrestling to more explosive Championship Wrestling, as Josh has wanted to get away from quite so much extreme stuff, even though in recent months and years we've kind of went balls to the wall. But like you said, not many people get to experience a death match, and you could count almost on one hand the amount of people that have been death matches. Yourself, me, Fletch, Austin, Roddy, Brady, and Brogan. It's all it's been a death match.
And Corey.
Corley did not have a death match. Did he have a death match?
Yep. He had it the year before mine, I believe.
But ironically, fun fact, the only person that I know of, did Brady win his death match, cameraman? Or did Brady lose? There's 2 people now in XCW with winning deathmatch records. Ironically, the last 2 deathmatch participants, Brogan beating myself, which I had a winning record, which now puts me at 2-2, and then Brady defeating Hazard at the previous SummerMania. So deathmatch is a very interesting type of match, but I don't see us having either any more at all or very many more at all. Especially with the recent change of, like I said, going from extreme to explosive.
Oh, yeah.
What is your opinion of when we first met? Do you remember when this is? Because if I'm thinking correctly, I know when it is.
I do. It was actually before I started wrestling.
Yes.
I met you at a different show.
Yes, it was a UIW show.
And I was sitting out in the crowd, and you talked a lot of shit. But now, you still talk a lot of shit.
UIW Ultimate Impact Wrestling, ran by Justin Parsley. Jessie was in the audience, and there's a lot of hostility and animosity between XCW and UIW back then. And there was a controversial storyline between UIW versus XCW that Fletch was not involved with or okayed. And ultimately, I ended up turning heel, turning on XCW, talking all the shit to you. So yeah, it was a very interesting time. I think we're on way better terms now, though.
Oh yeah.
Worst weapon shot you've seen in your time? Well, it doesn't have to be in your time in XCW, but worst weapon shot you've seen?
Probably, it's not a shot, but when Brandon Hobbs fell into the barbed wire bed.
Kind of a weapon shot. Very interesting utilization of a weapon. Something you don't get to see very often. The barbed wire bed. Tommy bumping on doghouse, a cooler, people getting thrown into rose bushes, just interesting stuff like that. But that is a good choice. You got injured in 2008, I believe.
I think so.
And you took quite a bit of time away from XCW after this injury. I don't remember who you were wrestling.
Brandon Hobbs.
Go figure. Do you blame Brandon Hobbs at all for the injury? Because you suffered you were gone for a long time, so I'd say a devastating knee injury.
Accidents happen, but it was mostly on a miscommunication.
Yeah.
He told me rock bottom position, so I got in, and when I went to plant the jump, he swung me out, and when he did, my whole body went one way as my knee planted and was facing the other way.
Yeah, he would have a habit of like just trying to describe the way a move would need to be done and not tell you what the move was or practice it. So makes sense of how a miscommunication, especially like he tried to do stuff like the Weapon X and all this other crazy ass shit, which unless you are a wrestling personality, you're really into it, like not many people are going to know what some of those moves are.
Yeah.
Worst weapon shot you've ever taken, and if I had to guess, is it the picture frame from Roddy?
No, probably the window frame.
That's what it was. Window frame, not picture frame.
No. He's gone.
Picture frame I gave to Brogan.
Why did particularly the picture frame hurt so much, do you think?
I don't know why. We pre-cut it because my goal was to hit him hard enough where he would bust through the picture and the frame would still be connected. Like, we pre-cut it and everything, but it was a 40-year-old picture. I guess it made well. And when I was swung down and I connected, all I felt was the sides of the picture frame break, and the picture just flew 4 or 5 feet up in the air.
You've had an interesting character throughout the years. And it's a character where you would essentially take somebody's move, incorporate it into your arsenal, and it would become the proclaimed better version. For example, you have the better side effect, the better pounce, the better stunner, essentially the better everything. If you wrestle somebody, you can take their move and it's the better of that version. What do you think of that, like that style of gimmick for yourself?
I enjoy it because it also brings up where I can do different moves, but don't have to constantly expand my
arsenal. Yeah. And like, it's interesting because you combine that with being the weird, the eerie, the mysterious, mask wearing, licking Brogan, everything else you've done. Like, it's interesting, and I definitely enjoy it. Last question before the first commercial break. What is your favorite XCW moment?
Probably when I won the heavyweight championship. When it's actually the moment before when I reversed the Claymore from Hayden.
Yes.
And as soon as I did that and I hit, I heard everybody just yelling, and it probably one of my favorites. Will probably stick with me.
I actually figured you were going to guess that, and that's why I asked it right before the commercial break. More when we come back.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a pusher with no brakes. I'm invincible. I'm unstoppable today. I'll smile, I know what it takes to fool this town. I'll do it till the sun goes down, and all through the night time. Oh yeah. tell you what you wanna hear. Leave my sunglasses on while I shed a tear. It's never the right time. Yeah, yeah. I put my armor on and show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Break down, only alone I will cry out loud. You'll never see what's hiding out deep down. Yeah, yeah. I know, I've heard that to let your feelings show is the only way to make friendships grow. But I'm too afraid now. Yeah, yeah. I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today.
Was this? Oh! Have fun. Pulling back at it. Oh!
What the hell is in there? Oh my God, they're wrong.
Got something in there.
And like we mentioned before the break, you get to see that amazing moment. And we'll talk more about that in a second. One of the things when there was an active writers group that I was super behind, and I hate talking on the phone. You can ask Josh. I fucking hate talking on the phone. He's like one of the very few people I will occasionally talk to on the phone. He FaceTimed me on Facebook at work one day. It was like a Sunday or something. And like Blackheart was here and Andy was here or whatever. And he was completely ignoring Blackheart and Andy. And we FaceTimed for a while. We were talking about a storyline. I'm like, I like the idea of us pushing Jessie. And I said, I don't know what we can do to give him something special. But what if we do a cinematic type match? And he ultimately molded into the idea of what became the Grotto match. What's your opinion of adding that Grotto match, because that's a Jessie exclusive, of adding something like that to your overall character and being able to have something like that to pull it out when the story deems it necessary?
I enjoy them. I really do. It's not just bell rings to bell ring. You have storytelling in it. You have weird stuff. That's what I like.
You heard it. That's what he likes. How does it feel to be in the first ever Winds of Change match?
It was fun. We had some technical issues with the chain on the rings at first, but we improvised and he beat me with them, so it was fun.
Sometimes you got to improvise on the fly. We've had 2 so far at XCW, and out of the 2, I would say yours was probably the better one. Who's helped you out the most throughout your XCW career? Whether it be like skills in ring, on the mic, character, gimmick, just in general, who's helped you out the most?
Brandon Hobbs got me to XCW. He did work with me a lot, but over the time, I think working with like Fletch, Hazard, Benji, got my mic skills where they needed to be.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not the best wrestler, but I still try to go out there, put on a show, and make sure no one dies.
Yeah. You mentioned Brandon bringing in XW. He also took you out for a while. I think having a unique character, as long as you can get over with the fans, which is the ultimate important part. You look at people from like WWE's past, like Michael Hayes. He is fucking shit for brains when it comes to wrestling in the ring. But you know, when he was part of the Freebirds, he could draw the crowd reaction and he get himself over and get the other team over, which is ultimately one of the most important parts of telling the story. All right, I told you before, you get a chance to ask me a question. So is there something that Jesse Justice would like to ask Chris Jones?
So you're asking me a lot of my favorite things. What is probably your favorite promo that I've been involved in?
My favorite promo that you've been involved in. Well, I would tell you, it was going to be the one where a bear trap is going to be involved, but I failed on being able to find a bear trap. So I can't say that one. That would have been the one where you were coaxing Corey Lee to the movie shoot and stuff like that, and there was going to be a bear trap, but my brother couldn't come through. Let's see, favorite Jesse promo. It's pretty close. I really am entertained by the one where you're feuding Brogan, the one where you end up licking him, but I'm going to have to go with the one where you tied up Fletch. You both, Fletch obviously very good on the mic and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Very good when it comes to the course of cutting a promo, but us presenting you and you being able to present yourself as, you know, the frantic, the crazy, the psychotic Jesse character, I was really super fucking into that promo. So I would definitely say where you tied up Josh, you should have like stabbed him or something too. But that was a lot of fucking stuff you wrapped him up in too.
Oh yeah. And I don't know why, just as soon as I was we were ending the promo and I was about to walk out, I turned on the faucet and I'm like, I hope you piss yourself. I don't know why it just popped in my head. I just thought it would be funny.
That is some psychotic Jesse stuff, actually. He's the same in real... No, I'm just kidding. He's not. Who do you think's the worst XCW wrestler of all time?
Max Destruction.
Finally, someone says Max Destruction. I think we might have had, like, maybe in the 6 seasons of No Falls, maybe only one of the person say Max Destruction. I will say, however, Max Destruction's never had the camera shut off on him yet, unlike Dark Slayer. Who do you think is the best XCW wrestler of all time?
My pick is a tie right now because how both of them actually started and grew is probably Brady Branson or Brogan.
Good answers. We actually have, I don't think we've had those yet, actually. So, Brogan and Brady. Brogan the year before, Brady essentially, me passing the torch on to him. as I've mentioned before on previous No False episodes, we had a moment after the match in the ring. I said some stuff to him. To this day, I still mean everything I said. And then ultimately, Roddy had given the following year Brady the nod. And Brady and Brogan are, the Chris Joneses, the Corey Lees, and the Tommies of the future. So, excellent answer. I'm kind of glad you chose them. Anyone that you don't like or hate in XCW and try to exclude Jaden Tucker from gouging your eyes, don't count that. I don't think that counts him as you being able to hate him for that.
Probably MILF Hunter.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Because he cannot give a stunner to save his life.
Well, there is a reason why you do the better stunner. MILF Hunter no longer on the active XCW roster. He was a spot filler. That's like the best description I can get. He was a spot filler. Supposedly royalty in Scotland. He's got a castle that he owns. 6 wives. I don't know. Who would Jesse Justice like to work with that he has not had the chance to? And then who would Jesse Justice like to work with again? It could be anybody. Past, present, whoever you want.
Well, someone I haven't worked with is Hunter Hawken. I've seen him wrestle multiple matches. He's very good.
Yep.
Just for starting out too.
Yeah.
And someone I would like to wrestle again is probably Brogan.
Why particularly Hunter and Brogan?
Because they're both not scared of bringing up crazy ideas. Like, one of the big ones is my Balto bomb. I felt it getting kind of stale. So I had an idea for Brogan where I put him up in a corner and I pick him out and swing him out.
Yeah.
And they're both willing to work, listen, and bring up new ideas.
I actually completely agree with everything you just said. There was a time after Hunter when he just started in XCW, and we were talking because Hunter's a big wrestling fan. And he's an interesting wrestling fan in that, like, you could say, okay, so let's do Clothesline 24 from WWE 2K14, and he would know what the fucking clothesline is. Like, I don't even know what that fucking clothesline is. But both not scared to try new things. Hunter told me one day that there was like 3 moves that he wasn't comfortable taking and he didn't want to take them. And I think since that moment he's taken 2 of 3 of those moves, one of them being the vertebraker I gave him like 2 months ago. So, and then Brogan, like, you go back and watch the death match, I just beat the fuck out of Brogan.
Yeah.
Like, if Brogan hit me, I'm hitting him 10 times harder. Like, you look at like the difference between when he hit me with the styrofoam bat, when I hit him, when he slapped me and I slapped him. So
the worst move I was like 2 feet away when he gave him the bubble bomb on the brick, and that was awful.
That was a Brogan idea. Ironically, you bring up crazy stuff. Book your dream match involving yourself.
I think maybe a triple threat grotto match against both Void and Fletch.
It's interesting that you included Void because I'm sure not many people remember you and Void used to be a tag team. Mm-hmm. So, very interesting. And one of your first major feuds was with Fletch, so also makes sense. There's very few things that I've not got to do in XCW before I ultimately retired. And I think of some of the interesting stuff we've come up with over the last few years, like, ACT's got like, his stadium matches. You got the grotto matches. That is something I wish I would have had the chance to participate in my time next year, because you and I never had any interaction between Jessie and Chris Jones, really. Most of our interaction was when I was playing, Psycho Circus Clown or somebody else. So Jessie and Chris Jones never had that reaction. So
don't get me wrong, I've been super kicked a couple times in Rumbles.
I would have loved to be in a grotto match and to be able to put you over in something like that.
That would have been fun.
Something I'm curious, because you're not really an emotional guy. Not that I've seen personally. We mentioned Brandon Hobbs, miscommunication, injured you, and ultimately you were gone for a long time. If you would have not been gone, me and Fletch has talked several times, and we think that ultimately you'd have got the world title at some point.
Yeah.
To be able to come back, long time coming, because like a lot of people that have started watching XCW and within the last 5 or 6 years or whatever, they might think that you are a new guy.
Yeah.
But you're not. You were here when Cynical was here still, kind of. You were here when I was actively wrestling, and the Vapors and everybody else, Carnage.
I trained with Austin Chaos.
You were here during the EBW storyline. Not a lot of people can say that. So my next question is, you won the first ever Winds of Change match. Summer Mania, correct? Biggest show of the year. Mm-hmm. I might say greed. But Summer Mania is truly what's billed as XCW's biggest show of the year. First ever Winds of Change match. Hayden Vex, arguably one of the fastest rising stars in XCW history. Jessie Justice. Never had the brass ring, so to speak. You hit, we already talked about it once, you hit that Baldo bomb. 1, 2, 3, everybody just fucking snaps. It doesn't matter, me and Josh knew you were winning, even the people that knew you were winning just freaked out. Finally, Jessie Justice has reached the ultimate pinnacle in XCW. You got your first XCW World title. There was a big segment recorded for Showtime that involved post-match celebration. What, if you could even explain it, because I know some people can't really explain their feelings at that point, but being able to finally capture your first world title, you go in the back and these people that are all entranced in wrestling and stuff like that, you normally just kind of mosey around, you're laid back talking. These people are celebrating you, of you finally be able to capture your first world title. What did that feel like, and what did that mean to you?
There he goes.
Come here, bud.
Yo,
Come here, bud.
that was fucking sick.
Good job. Great match. Proud of you.
That was sick. That was sick.
Good job. You worked your ass off for that.
It's kind of emotional for me. I mean, he's been here since 2012, and
I pushed hard for this. It's gotta happen.
All right, Jessie.
Andy beat the most dominant champion.
After almost 10 years as a part of XCW, you have finally captured the XCW Championship. How are you feeling right now, aside from sore?
Crazy. We deserve this.
Knowing that if my injury didn't happen, I would have won it much sooner. But coming back, getting better health, and then working and pushing myself to actually take bumps better, do moves better, and seeing that people are noticing, and I do get that push. And when that bell hit, it was unreal. I couldn't really think anything was happening. I just...
A lot of people just think, how do you not know how you feel? And, just the moment of, your biggest, XCW, and everybody's moment's different. I would ultimately say, we talked about, your favorite XCW moment, that is Jessie Justice. My favorite XCW moment's different. It's probably... I would say probably when I won the first world title, that or passing the torch to Brogan, or the Until the End show with Fletch and Cynical, that triple threat match. But like 2004, you know, I wasn't friends with Josh. I had no friends in XCW, to be honest. And Josh, even though we're not friends, gave me that opportunity. I beat one of his best friends for the world title, and I wasn't even supposed to be like the leader of New Power Generation. It was supposed to be like Smitley and Dylan, but ultimately, like, that just fucking catapults me way up here. And like, you go to 2009, and like, there's no words to describe that moment. You go to 2009 when we thought XCW was over, but it was kind of like the nod to like the older generation of people that weren't going to be with us anymore, and to, you know, Hazard to be our referee, you know, Cynical making Hazard count for Fletch to win, and us to be able to talk about it. It's the only match in history I've ever choreographed from beginning to end. I fucking hate doing that. And like, being able to pass the torch to someone like Brogan, like, I was able to say the words that I said, but like, ultimately, like, I don't know exactly like what I felt at that moment, like relieved, I guess, if that makes sense. But like, truly, that moment for you was special for me, because me and Josh wanted that for you, so we're happy you got to experience that. What's your overall opinion of Frantic Jessie Justice? The character, the person, the gimmick, the mask, the music. Egypt Central's the best, but the music.
At first, I'm a very anti-camera person.
Yes.
And at first, I didn't think I could do the crazy in front of cameras. I was shy.
I'm shocked by that, for you that say you can't do the crazy.
But, like, I just started working with Josh, and that first feud, he gave me a lot of leeway on the ways to, that I can portray my character and act, and I just got working with it. And then it probably hit my favorite point during the Wendy's promo.
Refresh my memory.
It was a Jeff Buster promo.
Oh, so it's when Jeff Buster went to Wendy's and everybody had like swapped gimmicks or something like that?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just told me to go with it, and I just rambled some shit, and everybody loved it. So that's how you end up licking grown men and catching yourself on fire.
I would honestly tell you, in the past couple years, a lot of people have really enjoyed like just the Chris Jones and Evan promos. You and I never really got to have like that promo moment. If you fucking licked me, I'd lick you fucking back. I would try to break you before you broke me. Future goals for Jessie Justice.
Now I've won all the belts I can win. I still haven't won Money in the Bank yet. I won Mr. Summermania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mania.
And so Money in the Bank, but other than that, I would like to see like the new generation have chances to win the belts, win the titles, work with, say, veterans and all like me to push them.
Yeah. Ultimately, me and Fletch a few weekends ago, I was supposed to have James Cerebral on the show, but ultimately he didn't show up. So we sat around, you know, Fletch was bouncing some of the ideas for the season that's going to happen off me, and I'm super excited for everyone this season. You were a part of a team with Void, the Ward. You were also part of Lake Evil. If you had to, I think that's all that, without spoiling anything else, that's all the teams you've been a part of. If you had to eliminate either Ward from XCW history, that means Void's never part of XCW at all. Or you have to eliminate the people that were part of Lake Evil from XCW history, except yourself. You're still in XCW. Either Void is never part of XCW, or Lake Evil with DJ, Vapor, and whoever else was in there.
I would have to keep the Ward.
Good choice. Good choice. Last question. Same question I ask everybody in closing. A lot of people come into XCW through different means, whether it be me meeting some weird looking guy at work, Jason Arcane, thinking he's not going to be a fucking wrestler. Here's Josh's phone number. Just text him. Kind of push him off to Josh. Brandon Hobbs brings you in. I brought my brother in. There was Spitfire. A lot of Steve-O. Just like a lot of people come into XCW through different means, whether they're referees, whether announcers, stuff like that. What's your advice for anybody that wants to get into XCW for anything? Referee, wrestler, commentator, cameraman. What's your advice for them to get in, and how should they go about it?
Just start talking to some of the wrestlers, watching our shows on YouTube and past shows, and coming to shows, setting up, and learning from all the other wrestlers, because you can, with all the training that I had, that's not what made me better. It's working with the people, trying to figure out what move to do, what gimmick, and all that. It's
the psychology of it.
Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. One of the biggest guests in No False history, Frantic Jesse Justice, capturing his first world title after so long, having that epic moment, finally, first ever Winds of Chains. One of my favorite entrance music, like a lot of people knows, you know, Chris Jones, more into like rap and hip. I like everything but country, but like rap, hip hop, R&B is more my thing. But there's a few exclusive rock songs that Chris Jones fucking loves. And besides Nightmares, song by Vidge Sevenfold, the other one I really fucking love is your entrance song. And Josh told me one day that, because you had changed it for a while.
Yes.
And Josh is like, you're going to fucking love Jesse. I said, why is that? He's like, we're bringing back Pink Magic. Pink Magic's not the name of the song.
No.
I just love saying Pink Magic. Anyways, I'm glad you're on the show, sir. It was a pleasure. Episode 13, Unlucky 13. 2 episodes left. And let me tell you about this. These final 2 episodes are gonna be a doozy. But I'm gonna give you a little hint about episode 14. For everybody watching at home, episode 14 just might be untouchable.
Your magic, white rabbit, your white room, straight jacket. Your magic.